lot about it. This is weird.
From the land of conjurers, flying through the internet to your device like a UAP, haunting the unexplained and downright weird. This is the Witching Hours, and we are ready to take off in the flesh of an eye. Good evening to one and all, wherever and whenever you are listening to this program. I am Frosty, and joining me, as always, is the medium Jenny Lee, and also Alyson, the Preistess of Wonderland. How is everyone doing out there tonight? And how are you, Jenny and Alyson?
Hot.
It's been hot.
It's disgusting.
I know. I imagine our weather is your weather, Alyson. We're close enough. I don't think there's much difference. You might be like a degree hotter.
Yeah. Just slightly hotter.
Slightly hotter.
And humider.
Yeah.
Humider.
I don't know
been
how it can get any more humider, but it is freaking humid.
Yeah, it has been it's been record breaking. It's been a record breaking summer. I was for Virginia specifically, they said this is the most humid summer on record since they started keeping track in the 1940s.
The humidest.
Most humid. Yeah, it feels like it. Like today, I hadn't even, attempted to go outside yet. And I was like, how is it today? And it was only like 10 o'clock in the morning. And they're like, nope, not today. Like,
Yeah. That's the crazy thing is how it's like 90 degrees at 10 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to get anything done, it's either really early or really late at this point. But I guess,
not.
yeah.
Just
Or it's raining. Like we've gotten so much rain. And I know that's nationwide with all the floods and everything that have been occurring. So
I think we're going on 3 days in a row of no rain here, but I think it's supposed to rain tonight.
We had actually gone about a week, I think, without rain, but we had some yesterday. But when it rains, it's so heavy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think they were saying we've got up to
like a month
Yeah.
of solid rain.
We had like up to 70-mile-an-hour winds in a storm we got yesterday, and I mean they're scary. The storms we're getting are a little more than normal. Shadow Max said the UV index is super elevated too. So. Yeah. So lots of bad weather out there. Hopefully that will come to an end. I did see if there's any benefit. The Atlantic had been a little bit cooler than normal. And that is still holding to be true. Like where all the hurricanes are kind of born off the west coast of Africa. The water there is still a little bit cooler than it was last year. Which should hopefully, I mean, I'm not a meteorologist, but hopefully should kind of curtail as many hurricanes. Not a crazy hurricane,
but we know ones.
We do know one, which we might have on the show to talk about some of the climate stuff that's going on because so much is changing. I left it off the news today, but there was actually an article I was looking at about not just like the seasons as we know them, but like man-made animistic seasons that are being created, like dust seasons and seasons where all the plastic gets washed onto the shore, and seasons like all these different kind of seasons that are being created by man, essentially, where they're like every year this happens during this time.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a microplastic season. Is that
microplastics? No, I think microplastics is all year round event.
All year season. Yuck.
Yeah, cue the microplastics emote there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, other than that, lots of stuff going on. We've been busy. We got back from Booby's Brewery this last week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. And I want to invite all of you to join in the discussion. If there's a paranormal topic, something going on in the news, something to do with the things we talk about on the show, feel free bring him up. We were going to have Michael Stratt on tonight, who we were really looking forward to having on. He is a researcher when it comes to UFOs, UFO crash recoveries, and also black budget. Like he's does a lot of research and is an expert on the black budget spending. But he has something come up. We are already rescheduled. He's going to be back in September. So we're going to have him back on. So if you were expecting Michael Stratt tonight, just be patient. We'll have him back on, and we can ask him all kinds of questions. I'm really excited about that show.
Mm-hmm.
But tonight, we have our great friend Alyson hanging out with us, and we're going to talk about all kinds of weird stuff tonight. So you guys ready for some news?
Yep.
All right. So the first thing I wanted to talk about in the news tonight, I hadn't talked about it the last couple episodes. I wanted to give it some time. Paranormal investigator Dan Rivera died suddenly at the age of 54 while on tour with the Annabelle doll. The paranormal world is in mourning the loss of renowned ghost hunter Dan Rivera, who was also the caretaker of the infamous haunted Annabelle doll. Tragically, Rivera passed away at the age of 54 while touring with the doll in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The respected investigator, there we go, was found unresponsive on July 13th. And it's kind of, a world that we've kind of been getting into a little bit because of this program, going places and meeting paranormal investigative teams and going to Paracons and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that we know that were hit pretty hard by this one. And I think, there's a certain amount of how to handle a story like this when we're a paranormal podcast and we're all, the thing that we have in common is paranormal investigation. And then you have someone who is a caretaker for Annabelle and they pass, especially after a lot of news media has talked about the things that happened in North Carolina and the burning of the plantation and all those things that happened on that tour as well. I guess I'm just going to say I'm not going to really get into what my beliefs are about that, but more or less just to kind of say that our condolences go out to all the people that we know that were friends with him and his family and all that, because that's definitely the most important thing. The legacy of what happened with that, I guess will probably take care of itself regardless of what we talk about on this program. Story number 2, Kentucky man wakes during organ donation procedure, prompting federal investigation.
Organ donation should be happening after you're deceased, correct?
Yeah, typically. That's the way they like for it to happen.
Or was he donating like giving a kidney? Because there's two different kinds,
I have the story right here.
Because I was just imagining like they thought he was dead and they started harvesting stuff and they woke up like zombie time.
Yeah. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is investigating organ donation practices after a Kentucky organization allegedly began recovering organs from people who may not have been dead.
Oh my God. So was that?
A House subcommittee held
a hearing. He wasn't a zombie or anything. Yes. He just wasn't dead.
A House subcommittee held a hearing Tuesday on organ donation safety lapses, some concerning Kentucky-based nonprofit Network for Hope, which merged with Kentucky organ donor affiliates. T.J. Hoover was declared brain dead after suffering an overdose in October 2021. But his sister, Donna Rohrer, says doctors attempted to harvest his organs while he was still showing signs of life. Rohrer says TJ's eyes were open and tracking movement during his honor walk when family members gathered to say goodbye before organ donation surgery. Almost immediately, as soon as his honor walk started, his eyes were opened and they were looking around at the people that were there, Rohrer said.
God.
Approximately 45 minutes after TJ was taken to the operating room, Rohrer says a doctor informed the family they had stopped the procedure. She said, I stopped it. He's not ready. He woke up, Rohrer said.
He's not ready.
Yeah.
He's not dead. It's like in Monty Python. I'm not dead yet. I'm feeling fine.
Natasha Miller who worked as a surgical preservationist on TJ's case, confirmed he showed signs of life during the procedure. He was moving a lot, just thrashing, not settled, Miller said.
What the hell? And they're just like, la-di-da, gonna go take this eyeball or whatever. Like,
yeah.
Well, there
Oh
must
my
be like
God.
something that they go through to confirm that like test that
you
they
would
do
think.
that he's dead. So they probably hadn't started operating on
I
him.
hope not.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. They said it was 45 minutes into the surgery, but maybe they were, the story kind of goes on.
Good God.
So here we go.
Poor guy.
Roar didn't learn the full extent of what happened until she was contacted by Nicoletta Martin, a former surgical preservationist coordinator who had scheduled to take over TJ's case. I was really surprised that that morning he had been taken to the cardiac lab. He was paralyzed and sedated and moved on with the OR. The hospital staff said they were incredibly alarmed, calling it euthanasia. The cardiologist said he didn't know why TJ was given a poor prognosis. He said it didn't look like he was brain dead. Mark resigned from the KODA shortly after TJ's case. Roar says TJ now suffers from PTSD from the trauma.
Yeah. No shit, man.
And both women have been advocating for organ donation reform. TJ was able to fight for his life and he's still here.
Wow.
And there's others that are still here, but there's a lot that are not, Roar said.
We have a friend, or we had a friend. I mean, not that he's passed, but we just don't really talk to him anymore. But he was a funeral director, and he said that he would never sign up to be an organ donor after he saw how they go about harvesting things, because they do it with like a reckless abandon of just taking everything, and it's not pleasant for the, I guess you could argue, what does it matter, because the person's dead, but in this case the poor fellow wasn't dead.
They just said there wasn't like any tact to it.
No.
I am not an organ donor, and that's the reason why. Because I was like, what happens if someone tries to, like that exact scenario? I mean, it was, which I never really thought was possible. I just thought it was paranoia. But there we go. So
poor TJ.
Well, I guess they got to be fast. So they probably have like multiple surgeons doing different body parts.
I guess,
trying to get it to them as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
I guess you're right.
Yeah. A little too soon.
Too soon for that guy.
As possible.
Dang.
Story number 3, possibly hostile alien threat detected an unknown interstellar object. A shocking new study claims a mysterious intergalactic object could potentially be a hostile alien spacecraft that's slated to attack our planet in November.
Horse shit. Sorry, I've cussed twice already in this podcast. I'm not supposed to be.
To a controversial new study by a small group of scientists. The consequences,
malarkey. There you go.
Should the hypothesis turn out to be correct, could potentially be dire for humanity. The researchers wrote in the inflammatory paper, which is published July 16th to the preprint server AIRXIV, Southwest News Service reported. Dubbed Atlas, the interstellar entity was discovered in July, on July 1st, rocketing toward the sun at more than 130,000 miles per hour. Less than 24 hours later, it was confirmed to be an interstellar object, with initial observations suggesting that it could be a comet that measures up to 15 miles in diameter, which is larger than Manhattan. However, in the new paper, the trio of researchers suggested that it might be a piece of extraterrestrial spy technology in disguise. One of the researchers, Avi Loeb, who is the prominent Harvard astrophysicist, the one who talked about Oumuamua, the one that came by the sun before, is known for linking extraterrestrial objects to alien life. Previously made waves after floating the theory that 2017 interstellar object Oumuamua, as I just said, could be an artificial recon probe sent by an alien civilization based on its odd shape and acceleration. That one specifically, if we're not familiar, actually sped up like when it shouldn't have, like it actually gained momentum. In this study, which he collaborated on with Adam Hibbard and Adam Crowell, the Initiative for Interstellar Studies in London, Loeb postulated that Atlas' trajectory suggests a similar alien origin. The trio felt the object's speed, which was significantly faster than Oumuamua and other objects, and the fact that it entered our solar system from a different angle than its predecessors offer various benefits to an extraterrestrial intelligence.
And why does that mean automatically that it's coming to destroy us?
One benefit is that Atlas will make close approaches to Jupiter, Mars, and Venus, which could allow aliens to stealthily plant spy gadgets there.
Give me a break.
When the so-called undercover UFO reaches its closest to the sun in late November, it will be concealed from Earth's view. This could be intentional to avoid detailed observations from Earth-based telescopes. And then they get into the idea of like the dark forest theory. So this is interesting, not for the headline. I think we have another object that's interstellar that's entered our solar system that could be roughly the size of a giant spacecraft. And it shows, I mean, if anything, it looks like it's more like they're saying there seems to be kind of a design to its approach where it gets to go by the other planets, just like we do. Like when we launch a probe, we have it where like time's up where it's going to fly by this place and fly by that place. And this is kind of doing the same thing.
Shot off of things so that it can go faster. Yeah.
And this is kind of doing the same thing. And then, I guess the type where they're talking about that it could be hostile is the fact that it kind of seems to be, once it gets its point, is going to kind of hide from us as it gets to the sun. But I think, so this is what's going on. Other scientists, it hasn't been peer reviewed yet, are kind of calling out on this. It seems like the professor is really just kind of doing more of a thought experiment here in terms of like what could be happening. More than like that's what he thinks is happening. He said more than likely it's just a comet. But there seems to be some similarities between that and Oumuamua. So something to keep our eyes on as things keep moving on.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not aliens.
Yeah.
But why did they just automatically go to hostile aliens? Clearly, we're the hostile ones.
Because
I don't think you guys haven't looked around.
I don't think most scientists have really put a whole lot of thought into extraterrestrial life. Even scientists who like him, who's a Harvard, physicist. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Like, what people are, interested in. But I think for the most part, they're thinking about scientifically. I think, one of the things that I've thought about in terms of UFOs and extraterrestrial life is the fact that if you have the technology to be able to get to us, chances are, I mean, if you were trying to destroy us, we'd probably already be destroyed.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it. So I'm not really afraid of any kind of extraterrestrial life coming here, if it hasn't already. But I think scientists, what we talked about before, like the dark forest theory. But that's a forest. Yeah. Yeah. Which is kind of a human way of looking at things. That's how we've interacted with each other.
Yes. But that's us because we suck.
Although there are lots of stories about
everything else is like that.
There is a lot of stories, and we can talk about this some tonight too, but there's lots of stories about people being asleep and waking up on board a craft and being stuck with all kinds of probes and some not very pleasant, and then being left disheveled and half naked on a highway somewhere 5 miles from their house. Doesn't sound exactly friendly.
But like you said, like if they wanted to destroy us, couldn't they have done that already?
Which is, we've had, we could get more into that. But
that makes me think of that SNL skit where it's like the one girl that's treated really badly, but the other people are like, it was all light and fluffy and perfect. She's like, that's not what happened to me.
Kate McKinnon, yeah. Those are hilarious.
Yeah. It is really interesting because there's so many shared experiences when it comes to contactees. And I feel like there's starting to become a clearer picture on that, but it doesn't all quite make sense yet in terms of, what is really happening to a certain extent. And there's so many different versions of it. Travis Walton's version is a whole lot different than Dolly Saffron's version.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to correlate those two things together.
Perspective of the experiencer too.
Yeah, and it's not different in terms of like what happened and what they saw. They had like very shared experiences, but like the way it's perceived is different. So there we go. That was story number 3. Story number 4 I wanted to talk about tonight. Obviously, it's something that's been kind of controlling the headlines way more than I ever thought it would, which is kind of the stuff going on with the Epstein files. News sources are trying to connect President Donald Trump to the Epstein files. Sources indicate Trump's name appears on multiple times in DOJ files. Who's reportedly informed by Pam Bondi in May. Though officials say no new actionable evidence was uncovered, Trump has responded by filing a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch over the reporting. And Ghislaine Maxwell has petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn her 2021 conviction, arguing Epstein's 2007 plea deal should extend immunity to her as a co-conspirator. The DOJ contends the deal applied only to Florida and not New York, where Maxwell was tried. This legal bid coincides with new Department of Justice interviews and public scrutiny of past agreements. So yeah, she's been getting interviewed. I don't know. I have something I say a lot, which is typically like rich people don't go to prison. And I just feel like this is a continuation of that. Rich people don't go to prison. I don't think anyone connected with this is going to go to prison. And I almost, as we were just talking about UFOs and aliens, I almost feel like this has taken on the same thing.
Shadow Max.
There we go, Shadow Max.
Shadow Max says we're all getting deported to El Salvador because we're listening to this podcast.
Is it hot there? Is it hotter than here? I'm not sure.
Yes, it is. It absolutely
right
is.
on the equator.
So here's the thing. I almost feel like this has taken on a life that's very similar in a lot of ways to disclosure when it comes to UFOs, which is at this point, there's been such a cover up that they can't uncover it. Because if they uncover it, everyone will be,
questioning it,
involved. Well, and everyone who's involved won't have a way out. People are complicit in the cover up, like Nixon. The cover up is worse than the crime kind of idea. Like if you've been part of the government and you were caught covering this up, you're going to be implicated regardless of whether you were on the island or not. And I think that to a certain extent, there's just too many powerful people that are connected with it at this point. I think at some point, maybe we would have gotten some kind of hand-picked list where select people were left off. At this point, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. So
Shadow Max brings up an interesting point. How can they go to prison? They flew to an island with zero jurisdiction technically.
I don't know. Ask Maxwell.
Yeah.
She's in prison. And I guess the big question is, if she's in prison, what is she in prison for if there's no list?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're implicit in committing a crime of underage sex trafficking, how do you get convicted and sent to prison if you didn't traffic anybody?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't like really talking about this story because it's just unsettling the topic of it. But at the same time, this is really, I don't know, this is something that people got to keep digging on this stuff. Like these are things that, I don't know, I feel like is important for us to discuss, because if we don't, then then the government just keeps getting away with it.
Yeah. I'll keep my opinions to myself on this one. Or I will find myself in El Salvador by the end of the week,
Yeah.
Shadow Max.
Yeah. A little bit better news. Story number 5, and something we can follow up with Alyson with tonight is Moon, Mars, and meteors. Tonight, July 28th, is the best night for sky watching all summer. A beautiful crescent moon will appear close to Mars after dark on tonight, July 28th. The dancing duo will make their debut about 45 minutes after sunset and will be visible from across the world. So go take a look out your window and let us know. Just as several meteor showers approach their peaks. The conjunction between the 19% illuminated waxing crescent moon and the red planet will take place above due west, making it visible to most people. Mars is well past its brightest point this year, but it remains a distinct reddish dot in the twilight sky. The moon, meanwhile, will show Earthshine, a ghostly illumination of its night side caused by sunlight reflecting off of Earth.
Saw it the other night when we took a walk. It was really cool.
Oh, cool.
The peak of the Pisces Ostranid meteor shower will be in the early hours of July 28th, when up to 5 meteors per hour will be visible under the dark, clear skies.
So when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go pee, look out the window and see if you see any meteors.
Overnight on July 29th to the 30th will be the peak of the Delta Aquarid and Alpha Capricornid meteor showers. While the former's peak is known to be broad, up to 20 shooting stars per hour are possible. As a bonus, a crescent moon together with Mars will set a couple of hours after sunset, leaving the night skies dark and free of moonlight. And as if that weren't enough, the Perseids, the year's most prolific meteor shower, are arguably best viewed this time in late July because its peak night, August 12th to the 13th, will be marred by a bright moon. August's full sturgeon moon occurs on Saturday, August 9th. And so there we go. Lots of stuff to look at in the skies tonight and in the coming days. And then lastly,
cloudy and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Which is usually what happens.
Usually what happens for us.
Yeah.
And then finally, a story that was put in the Discord by CMC Air Boss. Mysterious ship goo contains new life forms.
I was seeing that, but I didn't read it. So tell us about it, Frosty.
A viscous black gunk oozing from the rudder shaft of a ship is where it came from. At the end of August 2024, the crew of the Great Lakes research vessel RV Blue Heron first spotted the substance when the boat was brought to a Cleveland shipyard for propeller repairs. From the outset, no one was sure what to make of it, according to Doug Ricketts, Marine Superintendent at the University of Minnesota Duluth Large Lakes Observatory. The muck looked like grease or oil, Ricketts told the reporter, but the rudder shaft wasn't supposed to be lubricated by anything more than just lake water. Instead of a strong petroleum odor, the goop had a metallic smell. It also didn't leave a sheen on the water nor burn up in a blowtorch flame. During informal tests conducted by Blue Heron Captain Rule Lee.
It has life forms in it, and they're burning it with a blowtorch.
Well, they don't know. It just looked like some kind of sludge on the rudder. They got to clean it.
This is why aliens don't make contact with us.
Yeah.
I will say this though. I mean, if you were working in your car and you were emptying, you're changing the oil and there was black sludge in there, you wouldn't think it was a life form.
No.
On the quest for answers, Rickert brought a paper coffee cup half filled with the mystery goop labeled ship goo.
Oh, good Lord.
To university scientists, laboratory analysis has prompted more questions than clarity, but the initial assessment of the ship goo yielded at least one startling discovery. The mysterious tar-like material contained previously unidentified forms of life.
And we just blew them all up with a blowtorch. You don't get a gold star.
I really didn't think we'd get anything, to be honest. Cody Sheik, a microbial ecologist at the University of Minnesota Duluth, said, usually when you're given a cup of tar, you don't expect much, he adds. Under that assumption, he handed it off to a graduate student and said, good luck. The graduate student successfully extracted DNA from the goo, defying Sheik's initial expectations. But still, he thought it might be a routine sample contamination. It was only after the lab sent the extracted DNA off for preliminary single gene sequencing that Sheik realized he was in uncharted territory. The cup of goo was the only sample taken, and getting more could be difficult to impossible. The ship would have to be put in dry dock with the rudder once again disassembled. And unfortunately, they did a really good job cleaning it last time before they put it back. She says the rest of the ship goo may be lost forever.
Oh, man. Well, I had a cup of it.
Yeah.
Huh. That makes me think of Fern Gully. That guy was really oozy.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. There's a brand new life form never been discovered.
Let's set it on fire.
You know,
Let's put it in a coffee cup, and then we're going to burn the rest of it with a blowtorch. And this is why, people. This is why. This is why the aliens got to send a probe instead of coming here.
Right.
Right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Ay.
Wanderer says he's going to start saving up all the strange goo they find now.
Yikes.
Yeah, send it all out. Let's see if we can find some terrestrial life, I guess. Some more terrestrial
goes
life.
very well with the ET channeling that we did here on the Witching Hours a long time ago with the what we call the slime mold. Slime mold people. They had a consciousness and said that that all life is sentient, and we should be thinking about how what our interactions are with other life forms, even if they don't have 2 arms, 2 legs, eyeballs, and speak a language. So, yeah.
I feel like there's been a lot of stuff coming out. You said that was in the Great Lakes?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of information coming out about the Great Lakes recently.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happens up there.
We just talked to Mark Leslie on our last show, right? And he's doing a book on the Great Lakes, on paranormal Great Lakes.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have been specifically talking about the Great Lakes quite a bit. And then we were talking about, like there's like all kinds of shipwrecks in the Great Lakes that like people don't even know about it. There seems to be like this paranormal hotspot around them as well, like Michigan and Wisconsin and Illinois. Lots of things seem to kind of circulate around that, which is another interesting question of like, why the Great Lakes and why not the Atlantic Ocean? Like it's still large bodies of water. Is there anything special about fresh water as opposed to salt water?
I don't know.
Well, the water is contained in a location where the ocean water is essentially the whole ocean of the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
They also recently found a Stonehenge-like structure that is older than Stonehenge. So that must mean that it used to not be underwater.
Oh, in the Great Lakes?
Mm-hmm.
I must have missed that.
I'll see if I can find the article again.
It's not in the weird news.
That's weird. That's weird because the Great Lakes were formed by glaciers, supposedly.
Oh.
So that would mean that if it predates the glaciers, it shouldn't exist.
Well, we keep finding
glaciers
things that
would have
shouldn't
destroyed
exist.
the glaciers. Yeah.
And nobody wants to.
No, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like that would be a big deal because if there was a Stonehenge on the land before the Ice Age happened, and then these glaciers come down and wreak havoc on the landscape, right? They would have destroyed Stonehenge. Unless there was some point in time where somehow the lakes became dry after the Ice Age. I don't think that could have happened either. So that's interesting. I'd be curious to see that article. Yeah, that is really interesting.
I want to say they said it was older than Stonehenge, but I could be wrong.
What is the date for Stonehenge? Like 3,500? I'm going to be really wrong.
Google it.
Around 3,000
Okay.
BC.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that makes sense to a certain degree, except it still would have meant that someone had to build Stonehenge in the lake. If the lakes go all the way back to 10,000
Oh, right. Yeah.
BCE.
5,000 years ago is Stonehenge. That's a long time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's crazy. Lots of interesting things. Out of place. I was looking at that the other day. I was looking at the. There was always an In Search Of episode that was really interesting to me, which is where they found like this battery out in the desert in California somewhere. It was like, it wasn't a battery. It was like a champion spark plug inside a rock. And
the Baghdad battery, is that different?
No, Baghdad batteries in Baghdad. This was in California. This is like a spark plug, and it was encased inside a rock. And of course, they just came out and said it was fake, but they never really came out with a way to say that it was fake. The only way they said it was fake is because it's a champion spark plug. So it's like, it's obviously from the 20th century. But how the hell did it get inside of this rock? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe there's a good, explanation for it. But
maybe it wasn't really a rock. Maybe it was clay.
Yeah.
They said it was a rock.
It had Leonard Nimoy confused, so.
I don't know.
All right, Alyson, you want to talk to us a little bit about the moon for August? August already? Oh,
I know.
No, didn't we just do this for July? What's happening?
I feel like we did. Well, so August is basically just a continuation of what we've been going through the last week of July, currently still like this week. Because
make a note, people, does your week this week suck, or is it okay?
So like as of July 30th, Chiron goes retrograde. So that makes Chiron, Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, and Pluto all retrograde. Uranus goes retrograde in September. So that will be all of the retrogrades for this year, but it's just all happening at once. So I don't know. It's chaotic. It feels chaotic. The good thing about this, though, is Mars and Venus are direct because they already went retrograde earlier this year. So those planets are closer to us, and Mars is action. So it's not like we're not having that stuck in the mud feeling like we did at the beginning of the year. And Venus is the planet of love and relationships. So hopefully you have people in your life that are supporting you and have some positive things happening in your relationships. And I mean, those are things that are really important and close to us, with the exception of Mercury, who is retrograde. But Mercury is retrograde only for like 3.5 weeks. So it will go direct in August 11th. So our close planets are with us. They're moving with us. Whereas the outer planets are like longer transits. They deal with like bigger things, and they're slower moving, and so they're bigger transitions. And I don't know, it kind of feels like there's all these balls up in the air, and you're like expecting them to like land back in your hand, and you're like, why aren't they coming back down? Like it just has this weird feeling of like, okay, Pluto is transformation. So like we were evolving, we were moving forward. And then it's like, oh, we're not transforming anymore. We're not evolving anymore. With Neptune being retrograde, things are kind of confusing and feels unreal, which is something that I've seen commented a lot just within our community and even outside of the spiritual community. It's just like every time you turn on the news, it's like, is this even real? Like, is this happening? It just
doesn't seem that way, does it? Like everything, I very much feel like I'm living in some kind of fictional world.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's caused me to try to grab onto the things I know are based in reality a little bit more, like friends, family, people you can kind of have that conversation with. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that is true, Alyson. There's a lot of just existing in the world right now. Almost seems like I'm living in some kind of, well, I guess alternate reality.
Yeah. And then at the same time, like the things that we talk about within our community, which are very real, seem like fiction to somebody else. From somebody outside of this community would think that we were delusional. So there's just delusion is how we've kind of been feeling. But so starting off August, we're just continuing with that, all of those outer planets being retrograde. So like you were saying, focusing on the people in your life with Venus and focus on the little steps that you can take and the things that are like right in front of you, because Mars is direct and Mars helps us to move and take action on things. So starting off this month, we had our new moon last week. So we have a first quarter moon. So the light is increasing, the energy is increasing. August 1st is also a sun holiday, a pagan holiday, Lammas. It's technically the first harvest. So it's a cross quarter holiday that is in between the summer solstice and the autumn equinox. So we're just getting closer to fall. And personally, as someone who has a birthday in August, I notice how different the light is. I would always try to have like a pool party for my birthday, but at the end of August, you don't really know what the weather's going to be like. Sometimes you'll have those cool days and then it'll be 100 the next day. And I remember we would always have to cancel because of rain or cool weather or something like that. But the light just hits different after we've passed this cross-quarter holiday. It's not as intense. And yes, we're still having those hot days, but it's just, we're heading into fall. We're decreasing a little bit. And but it is still, it's a celebration. We have so much abundance. All the crops are producing right now. And you're getting all of those, all of that abundance and all that harvest, and the next harvest is going to be like preserving and storing and organizing that. But here with Leo, it's like a party. We've got all this food. Let's eat it. Let's make some food. Let's eat.
But maybe not have a pool party.
Right. So the second week of August, Mars is moving into Libra. Again, Mars is direct and moving forward, and Libra is the sign of balance. So it was in Virgo, which with Mars in Virgo, you're getting that organization and preparing, and Libra just kind of like helps. It brings this like breath of fresh air. Libra season is like when we're right in fall with all the beautiful colors and beautiful leaves and cooler weather, and it's just this very nice, light, airy kind of energy to it. So with that being one of the planets that's direct, it's a really nice, wonderful, wonderful feeling. And we also have our full moon in Aquarius, another air sign, on August 10th. So there's a lot of air energy the second week of August, which can be full of fresh, new, innovative ideas like Aquarius energy, or sometimes that can be anxious and we don't want to be too much in our head. But an Aquarius moon is paired with the Leo new moon, which Leo is all about the self. Aquarius is all about the community and evolution and new things. So it's how do you balance the self and with and not being too egotistical, focusing on like the bigger picture and the whole. So those two signs go together and balance each other out. So with our new moon in Leo, we're focusing on the self, and a full moon in Aquarius is like community and heart-centered. And then finally, the third week of August, Mercury's going direct, which I think everybody loves when Mercury goes direct. And
that's good timing for me too. I'll take Mercury going direct.
Is that back to school?
Yeah, that's right about that time. Yeah.
I think you had to, if I remember correctly, I think you started during a Mercury retrograde last year.
It might have been.
Oh yeah.
I think I remember you saying that. So the following week we have this, we're moving out of Leo and into Virgo. Sun moves into Virgo August 22nd. So if Jenny and I were born this year, we'd be Virgos instead of Leos.
No.
And
I love all my Virgos, but I like being a Leo.
And August 23rd, we have our new moon in Virgo. So the end of the year has the sun and the moon moving into a sign at the same time, which I really like.
That's weird.
So we've got the sun moving into Virgo, new moon in Virgo on the 23rd. And then at the end of August, even though we're moving into Virgo season, Venus is moving into Virgo. Venus is moving into Leo. So we've got the last little bit of Leo energy.
Leo's got to come in and try to steal the show one more time. That's what happened.
Mhm.
And remember, Venus is direct. So that's a big focus planet too. And Leos like to be spoiled. So again, focusing on Mars and Venus, I think is going to be really significant. But there are bigger things happening collectively with those outer planets being retrograde, as well as individually. We're all going through our own little mini transformations. So we're having big shifts happening, but we can focus on what's in front of us. We can still take action. We can still lead with our heart. Find those people that you can really talk to and be close to, and hold on to each other so that we can get through it together.
Yeah. It's been interesting. I feel like things have been coming at a really fast pace recently, though. Like the year started off so slow. I know for me and Jenny, this summer has just been an absolute bullet. I mean, it's been a breakneck pace. So, we'll continue to see how things go, I guess.
Do you have more things coming up this summer, or are you done?
We're kind of getting ready. Well, we're kind of getting ready. We're kind of on a little bit of a slowdown period, but only because I have work coming back in again. But we have a witching hours, booked all the way through. We're going, and I've been thinking about going and doing a couple paranormal investigations locally, maybe. Just like for fun. But I think the next thing that we have planned is going to be with Sam in Gettysburg. Yeah, we're going to so that's going to be in October.
Haunted Travels.
Yeah, Haunted Travels. We're going to be doing that. And so we're looking forward to that. And we'll see. We'll see what else we have coming up after. But this summer was a lot. But it was fun. It was great.
I mean, the whole beginning of the year, Mars was retrograde, so we weren't really moving.
Yeah.
We went direct, and you guys went flying.
We went flying. I mean, this last 2 months might have been the fastest 2 months I've ever experienced for myself. I don't know if that's something that other people are experiencing as well, but that's another one that just really kind of gets into my mind, is like the passage of time. And I have told myself a good explanation for that, but I still wonder sometimes if time isn't moving faster in general.
It feels like it's moving faster for sure.
Because I I've heard this a lot, but I thought about this when I was younger, which is the longer you live, the more time you experience. So then a smaller amount of time is, it's an amount of time is relative. If you've lived more time, then the time's going to seem shorter. But man, it really does. Sometimes when people are like, no, I think time's speeding up. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll disagree with you.
Yeah.
But we don't understand time. So maybe time is speeding up and we just don't even, well, we do realize it, but we don't have the faculties to understand why.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is interesting.
There's no such
we got a lot.
time.
What's that?
But there's no such thing as time.
No such thing as time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Shadow Mech says time dilation isn't just theoretical. It's measured in particle physics and affects satellite systems. Oh yeah, for sure. The clocks they put in orbit have to run at a slower time than on Earth.
Whoa.
Because the closer you are to gravity, the slower time moves. And the further you are away from gravity, the faster time moves.
Maybe our gravity.
So it's the opposite. So it has to be faster in space. And actually, like if you had like two twins that were born and one of them went to like Death Valley and lived their life and one lived at the top of Mount Everest, by the time they were like old men, there would be like, I don't know what exactly it is, like a couple minutes or 30 seconds or whatever it was difference between their ages. It might even be more than that. But yeah, I mean, it's a scientific thing for sure. We did have a question in chat
with our gravity then.
Well, gravity for sure. I mean, that's the thing. That's like the whole Interstellar movie was based off of that.
Yeah.
Which I just saw a meme about the Interstellar movie the other day.
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah. It was talking about like right now, like I can't remember the amount of time, but it was like 2 minutes, like two minutes had passed on the planet that they were on, but it's been like,
Right.
15 years or something since.
Yeah.
But when they were on that one planet where they lost all their time, it had only been like 2 minutes and it lasted like 10 years. Yeah.
Yes, we had a question earlier. Since we are doing just kind of open discussion here.
Yeah, we do have open lines tonight.
Here's an open discussion question. Any idea how to shake my cloud/haze? This is from Beth. I can normally call on my angels, loved ones I can visualize, and they come and protect. I've been unable to think clearly. Any ideas would be great. Alyson, is there anything happening with the planets and the moon that would be causing the inability to not think clearly right now?
Well, Neptune being retrograde causes confusion.
Okay.
When does that go not retrograde?
December 10th.
Good Lord, Beth. Just hang on, girl.
Yeah.
No, we don't know if that's what's causing it. Does anybody have good suggestions for clear thinking?
Yeah, we have a lot of people in chat that know stuff. There might be even some kind of like, I don't know, herbal things that could possibly help with that too.
I know just a basic one that is just like, one that like therapy throws out there, but it's helpful. That is taking like a way to get yourself in the now and be present in the moment and to have mindfulness. It's to just sit and to get your mind to stop doing what it normally does, which is just thinking, to go through all of your senses. So like start with, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? And but giving each one of those things some time to really pay attention to them can kind of reset your brain to being in the present if you're having trouble like being too much in your head. Oh, what happened to Alyson?
You lost Alyson. Hopefully she's not getting one of those bad storms coming through.
Maybe she just accidentally clicked out.
It's possible. That's pretty good. What Shadow Max said earlier too, like kind of, to a certain degree, kind of has the same thing that you were talking about, which is just kind of stepping away from some of the things. I noticed that helped me a little bit recently, especially for me being on vacation. It's very easy to kind of just get in that chill mode and scrolling and sometimes there we go. We got Alyson back.
Welcome back. Everything okay?
I was trying to see the chat and it I don't know, logged me out or something.
I figured that's what happened. Hosters just worried about you though.
Traveling did that a little bit for me, like having to kind of
Traveling
be at a certain place. Yeah, just a little bit because you got to be at a certain time, certain place. Kind of for me, that was a way to reset. So,
are there any herbs that you know of, Alyson, that are good for clarity?
The first thing that came to mind was ginkgo biloba, which is just for general brain function and longevity.
I'm real terrible at remembering what stones are for what. Can you think of a stone that's good for clarity?
A good rule of thumb, generally speaking, is to go by the chakra colors, if you know that. So the clear stones are the crown chakra and would affect the head and everything. But I mean, that's not always the case. I mean, like amethyst is good for memory and cognitive function. But generally speaking, like the clear stones, like clear quartz or selenite are just, just think clarity and clear.
Very true. Clear stones would be good for clarity.
If you're too much in your head, you might need the darker stones, the reds and blacks and browns for grounding.
Yeah.
And getting in your body, which would have the same effect that you're saying with connecting to the senses.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation. Yeah. So there's lots of things there.
Yeah. Or if you have a hard time with meditation, simple things like those senses.
If they are just noticing that it's it happened all of a sudden or specifically around the beginning of July, then that might probably be Neptune retrograde, and maybe they have a lot of Neptune or Pisces influences in their birth chart.
Come look at your birth chart and see Neptune and Pisces. Then you just got to hold on till December.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for anyone who needs a birth chart, you can get one of those. You can go to priestessofwonderland.com.
Yeah. I have ordered them.
Sometimes you just gotta embrace the delusion and live in the fantasy land for a while.
Well, that's the problem, Alyson, is that the real land turned into the fantasy land. It's hard to determine which one we're in anymore. Yeah. That was one thing that we noticed recently because we did so much traveling this summer, and not great distances, but going to the Northeast and things like that.
Far enough.
There were a lot. Things were very different. I don't know, issues that we have here weren't issues other places. It didn't seem like, I don't know. It was kind of just eye opening. It was good to get out and kind of break out of your everyday thing. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So all those kinds of things can help. I think for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking out of the mundane everyday.
So easy to do. It's like what our
race.
American lives are based off of is the rat race.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up and go to work, come home and cook dinner and go to bed. And wake up and go to work
again.
and wake up and go to work and wake up and go to work.
Yeah.
But we need some time for magic. And so that's why we have things like the witching hours. If you are watching the show or hanging out with us now, then you already know Medium Jenny Lee. But did you know you can book a private session, explore her spiritual services, or check out her latest content all in one place head over to mediumjennylee.com. Whether you're seeking guidance, answers from beyond, or just curious about what the spirit world has to say, Jenny offers personal readings, mentorship, and more. Don't miss your chance to connect directly. Visit mediumjennylee.com and take the next step on your spiritual journey. Your journey to the weird is just a click away. So, do we want to talk a little bit about, well, first off, I want to say thank you for the Moonphase update.
Yes.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's great. So much. I know everyone appreciates being able to keep up with that. And if you want to follow along with the Moonphase updates, once again, you can go to priestessofwonderland.com and get the Just Phase Moon Planner. And you can go and follow along and keep track of all those things yourself.
Or more updated information weekly. Look at her YouTube. She has a moon update every week. Beth has selenite and a music bowl and a black obsidian. There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
So you got the tools that you need.
Usually have what you need around you. You just got to look for it.
Or remember to use it is more what my problem usually is.
Right. That too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling like crap. Oh, well, I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
I just don't think about how to fix it. Yeah.
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 So we did want to talk a little bit, and I don't know if Irene's still in chat. She was joining us here a little bit earlier, but we were going to talk a little bit about
Boobies.
Boobies Brewery. Yeah.
Brewery.
We had an investigation there, last Wednesday? So almost a week ago. What were your, so we went to Boobies Brewery. It was in Pennsylvania.
Mount Joy, Pennsylvania.
It was, getting information on it, it was like one of the oldest active breweries. It's like state of brewery, like since it was created. It's not the oldest brewery, but like one of the longest running active breweries.
In America.
What were your thoughts on the brewery, Jenny?
First of all, the building itself was very strange because it's essentially like 4 different buildings built in different time periods that all are connected to each other. So it was like a maze, and there were so many stairs. Like my legs hurt for 2 days after we went because I had climbed up and down so many stairs in that like 1 day and a half time frame. So just the buildings themselves were very strange. But then the energy was also very strange. Like when I walked in the door, I had to stop and take a step back because this wave of energy hit me and my vision got black for a second. And I was like, what the hell just happened? But then there was a lot of activity in there, and we were having a lot of things happen. And those of you who got to watch it live over on the Spirit Realm Network got to see some of those crazy things happening. But we had tons of activity on the equipment. The cat balls were going off like crazy when we were upstairs. When we were downstairs.
In the ballroom.
Yeah, in the catacombs, that one EMF meter that Irene and Danica had was going off like crazy. Yeah. We had a lot of, Irene and I were picking up on a lot of different things, and some things we were picking up on were the same, and then each one of us was picking up on different things as well. And then we did that crazy double white noise Estes method, which got completely out of hand apparently.
Yeah, it was awesome. I would want to do it again. But just being that I hadn't really done it before, trying to, us being there trying to mediate it a little bit, because typically in the Estes method, there's lots of, you get an answer and that's like a thing. It's not coming at you a million miles a minute. But having two well-practiced mediums, Irene was just firing off stuff, and you were firing off stuff, and then you guys were yelling, and Irene was pounding on a table and like shoving
about to
around.
throw a chair across the room.
And then you're like, you're like, don't touch her. I mean, we can't touch her. And then everything is just, it was like, and so I was trying to ask questions for you, but then I felt like whoever Irene was coming through for Irene, it was getting mad because we were ignoring her.
Yeah.
And so it was like very hard to mediate, but it was very cool. There was lots of activity.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that kind of backed that up was the amount of devices that we had going off at the same time. Because our K2 meter, if you're not familiar, that's what measures EMF or electromagnetic fields. That was pinned like to the red
over and over and over again
while that was happening. While that was happening. Yeah. Really. And it was funny because I can't remember who it was now, grabbed it and like held it to me, and it like went all the way up.
It kept going off in your armpit. What do you got in your armpit, Frosty?
Well, it's all over it. As soon as you got it close to me,
it was like really when they got to your armpit, it kept going off like crazy.
But there was
Frosty
a lot.
Wears paranormal deodorant. That's
there
what
we go.
It is.
I took the K2 meter and put it on the ground because I was wondering if there was something I had on me that was setting it off, and then it went off there. It was going off.
And then we were worried that the ground was setting it off because it was all stone, and they set out on the table, and it was still going off.
Still going off.
Yeah.
And that was, we had gotten bumps on it, but it hadn't been pinned like that the whole night, and it never did anywhere else. And it really happened to correlate with you and Irene doing the white noise meter.
Yeah.
Estes method,
Yeah.
Really happened to correlate with you.
Oh.
So Irene doing the white noise.
Where is that coming from?
Yeah. We're getting some sound from the stream.
Feedback from somewhere.
Yeah.
Holy moly, I just hit something on my computer here. It's chaos. It's all chaos.
It was good. It was for me, it was really interesting. I think the thing that I took away from it is there's definitely something going on there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You don't get the opportunity in a one-night investigation to come up with all the answers. I think that's one of the frustrating parts about paranormal investigation. At the beginning of the night when we got there, it was like, okay, we got to find a way to make sure we get a good investigation in, and people are watching, and you want to make it entertaining and fun, but at the same time you're like, man, we're starting at we got to fill up all this time. And then by the time it was over, it was like I felt like we were just getting started.
There was still a ton of stuff happening.
The first room we were in, which was the ballroom, there was people were seeing a lot of shadows back in the back corner, and we never even had a chance to investigate that because we were going down to the next floor. There's a lot of rooms that we didn't get a chance to investigate. So
tons and tons of space in those buildings.
Yeah.
Rooms and hallways and kitchens and bars, and just is like endless.
You could probably spend a whole night just in the cellar part that they call the catacombs.
Yeah.
That seemed creepy to me.
It was a little creepy.
It's intentionally creepy.
Right.
Yeah.
They've made it creepy. They call it the catacombs. They have the candles on the walls and all that to kind of give it that feel.
Yeah.
It used to just be where they kept the barrels at, because it was cool down there.
Beer kegs down there, yeah.
But it was tons of activity. It was the place we had the most activity. And that is curious on why that would be. If it has something to do with maybe like an underground spring, I don't know.
Well, I think that stone, from our experiments and experiences with rocks and crystals and gemstones, and I think that us woo-woo folks know that stone and rock holds some kind of energy, even if we don't understand it. And that whole space is nothing but rock.
Yeah.
It's top floor to ceiling, the floor, the walls, the ceiling, the whole thing is all stone. It's all rock.
Was it granite? stone?
I'm not sure what kind of rock it is that's there.
That'd be good to find out, though.
But then Irene and I were both picking up on water too. That at
Mhm.
some point there was water in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think there might be water maybe in the ground or something too. I'm not sure.
There does seem to always be water around paranormal stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. It's interesting how that works.
So
But we were just talking about that. We were talking about the Great Lakes and like the water
Right.
there, and like, and then like the rivers and the creeks and like, you know,
Mhm.
where, you know, water definitely seems to be something that helps activate things.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to give a shout out to the people who work there. There was a great staff.
They were great.
And
they were so excited that we were there. They were all watching it on the. They came down and talked to us about things, and
because there were a bunch of names we got that all correlated to
which was so weird because those came through the what's the app called? Do you remember, Frosty?
The Necrophonics. Yeah.
And me and Frosty we're very skeptical about phone apps.
Very skeptical of apps. Yeah.
But that app gave us 3 different names, and they were all people that have or do work there.
And
like,
it's also
what?
It's also interesting because most paranormal investigators I know, like ones that, you know, are doing a lot of investigations, are also very skeptical of apps, but a lot of them tend to be like, we do use Necrophonics. I'm sure Irene and Danica won't mind us mentioning this a little bit, but they said, you know, Necrophonics was one that they would just have on in the car rides. It didn't like repeat words and stuff. Because some apps, like if you leave them on for long enough, it's just on a rotation. Yeah. It's just pre-recorded. And this doesn't tend to have that. So I don't know. That's something I could see using further in investigations, just as it's a good thing if it's backing up some other form of evidence. I typically don't like to use it just as evidence itself, but in that case, it gave us a bunch of names of people who work there.
Things, yeah. So that was pretty cool.
And not like one name out of 4, like all 4 names were people who work there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I looked up the kind of rocks that are there. So
Cool.
Mount Joy, Pennsylvania is mostly a deposit of limestone layered with dolomite.
Oh.
And quartzite and phyllite are in another part of it, and shale. So it's like 5 different types are the main types.
That seems like very unique stones, but I guess they just used whatever they dug up from the land originally?
Like those rocks, those stones are the kind of stone that's in the ground there. It's like part of the ground.
Right.
And the stones that were making up those catacombs were definitely rocks that were part of the land there. To me, it seemed like anyway.
I could be wrong, but I thought dolomite was red. Were there red stones?
It was so dark in there. I don't think I would have been able to tell if the rocks were bright green. You know, like I don't know.
That'd be something to look. I know that the Spirit Realm Network will go back, and I imagine that we would want to. So maybe that's something we can ask next time too.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else then. It's definitely white.
Yeah.
Oh, it does come in red. Okay. I guess I've just only seen red.
Oh yeah, it's kind of whitish, like marbly looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of them do have red on them.
Yeah. It was a very interesting place to investigate. We enjoyed it.
I do have a little EVP I think I can play in the microphone. Yeah. It's right at the beginning. So you'll hear Danica speaking, and she's saying something about if anybody in chat has a question. And then it's right at the end of when she's speaking, there's an EVP. It's kind of like happens before she's finished with the last word, and then like right after. And I'm going to play it in the microphone. So
Yeah, let's see how it
hopefully
picks up.
it's not too loud.
Mhm.
I'm worried it's going to be too loud.
Any questions they want us to ask on the EVP, you can put it in the chat.
So do we have another woman in here joining us?
Can you hear it?
We could hear the audio really well. I didn't hear the EVP though.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me play it again.
Any questions they want us to ask on the EVP, you can put it in the chat.
So do we have another woman?
Did you hear it that time?
It's like it's just not picking up
Yeah, the
that part
microphone
because
might
it's
not
too
pick it up.
soft. I'll tell you what we can do though. I don't know if we can do it tonight, but you can just email it to me,
Yeah.
and then we
put
can
it
play it
in.
in the share the screen and play it that way.
Well, maybe even turn it up at the end or something so you can hear it a little better.
Yeah.
But I'll
maybe
tell
we
you
can
what
do
it
that
was.
next time.
So right at the end of when Danica's speaking, there's this male voice, and I don't think he's saying any words, but it sounds like
Yeah, it's like a very kind of guttural, kind of
Yeah.
sigh almost.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if you were standing next to the phone when she was playing it, you would hear
You
it.
could hear it.
It's very audible.
Wow.
And then it was,
Yeah.
we were taking those EVPs were done in, or those voice EVP sessions were done in the little area that we were calling the art gallery.
Mhm.
And it was like right off the room where the giant kegs were, keg barrels. And they had like, people's art in there. But about 10 or 15 minutes after that EVP, maybe it wasn't that long because it was before we had listened to it back. Irene says, is there a man here who had something wrong with his throat?
Mm.
And that's what it sounds like. It sounds
Yeah.
like a man who has something wrong with their throat.
Mhm.
It was crazy.
It's one of those things to try to remember, almost to make notes if we go to
Yes.
investigate there
Mhm.
next time. Maybe that's something we need to do, thinking out loud here. Like
Just making notes.
Ruby's Brewery notes. Like, what do we want to, so because, we might not get back there for a year or something and forget the stuff that you've done,
And times so that you know, like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that could be for any investigation for us too. I don't think it has to be just for that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, start taking for the places that we're in, because, we're doing more and more recently. So,
Yeah.
Um,
And we got one other EVP. It was on Irene's phone. And I think some of you heard it when it happened because I think somebody mentioned it earlier. I think Shadow Max mentioned it earlier in the chat.
oh, yeah.
But it was, it sounded like the first word was a little hard to understand, but it sounded like the word that was very clear was Ben.
Hmm.
But there was a word before it, like I'm Ben or it's Ben or something like that.
Hi, Ben. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Ben was very clear.
Yeah.
And there was a person in our group
Right.
whose name was Ben, and he was
Yeah.
sitting right in front of the phone. And the voice even sounded like Ben's voice.
That's weird.
That happened a lot.
Yes.
So, two things that happened a lot that I haven't experienced before. Well, one was because of the Necrophonics app.
Mm-hmm.
I heard my voice in the app.
I did
heard
too.
your voice in the app.
I did too.
I heard Ben's voice in the app.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So,
Is it
once again, being skeptical of the app, I don't know, but that was very weird. And then everyone got touched
Except for me.
except for Jenny.
Because I was like, no,
Wow.
you're not.
Well, when you were doing when we were doing the white noise Estes method, that's what you were saying. Like, she won't let us touch her.
No.
That's what you were talking
Because
about.
I could feel it when we were sitting there. Somebody was up on me so close that I could feel the energy all along my back, and it was like prickling. And I was like, I knew that they were trying to touch me. And I was like, you're not. I was like, no, you cannot touch me. And then Danica was like, well, I like when I get touched. And I was like, well, then go touch her. Like, don't touch me. And it did. It moved off of me after that. But everybody else got touched.
Danica got pinched.
I thought that was Clarissa got pinched.
Oh, that was Clarissa. That was Clarissa got pinched.
That was awesome.
I got touched on our walkthrough, and I was trying to blame it on some lights down in the basement, but there was no way it was the lights.
Yeah.
Because the lights didn't touch my head. Like, they didn't even hang down far enough to touch my head.
It. Yeah.
And something touched the back of my neck when we were walking through down there. So, yeah, there's a lot of activity there. It's definitely, it also serves a good meal. So if you're ever in the area and you want to go, you can reserve a dinner and have it down in the catacombs.
I really wanted to partake of one of their beers, but I don't drink when I'm doing medium work. So
yeah,
next time.
Yeah, we were all good.
So you mentioned that it was like obviously constructed at different time periods. Mm-hmm. Why do you think? I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence, but it seems like there's a lot of places with a lot of spiritual activity that have the same kind of story of like, this part of the house was built at this time, and then we started doing construction here, and there's so many different pieces of the building that's put together. Like, I understand why undergoing construction would like stir up the energy to have spirits come out and play, but why does it seem like they stay there after all of that construction? Or maybe it's just it just seems like in so many paranormal shows I've seen, like, well, this when we started,
they go in and they start doing what do you call it,
demolition or something.
Yeah, and you go in renovations. Yeah, when you go in, like, all the time, like nothing was happening, and then we started doing this kitchen renovation, and then all of a sudden, it seems to stir things up for sure. There's definitely some kind of correlation between paranormal activity and renovation.
We specifically at Booby's Brewery, we didn't find out any reasons why any of the energies were there. And one of the people that we were with who was leading everything, Jennifer, she said there just really wasn't a lot of information about the history of the place. But I do know why one thing was there. There was an elemental in the catacombs that was like an earth elemental.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And that energy was there because they dug into the ground. Like, that's what either manifested it or brought its attention there or whatever.
You and your elementals.
I find them everywhere. I wasn't expecting to find one there. I was expecting to find, drunk guys who fell down the stairs, or maybe like a hooker who got strangled or some shit. And I go down in the basement and there's an elemental.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wasn't expecting that. Why would there be? It's a brewery.
That would be another location for a Teamwork Takeover maybe down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in some really strange rooms.
Yeah. We had the Oriental room.
They were all themed rooms.
Oh, cool.
There's a jungle room, a New Orleans room, a Moroccan room, an Oriental room, a New Orleans room. Did I say that?
Yeah.
And I don't know what else.
There was some other ones that we didn't get to see.
We didn't see all of them.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. It was a very interesting place.
Yeah. So it was a great time. So we want to thank the Spirit Realm Network for having us out.
Yeah.
And I hope for those who were able to tune in and watch it, you guys enjoyed it. If you missed it, I think it will be put up on the Spirit Realm Network So you can go back and kind of rewatch the investigation. We did go back out and do another investigation around 1 a.m.
I was dead asleep. So you will not see me on that Facebook one.
You can catch that one on Facebook on Spirit.
I fell asleep with my glasses on. That's how tired I was.
Yeah. I was pretty delirious. We quit at 3 a.m. So at the witching hour. So that was, I was even getting a little bit delirious at the end. So I was like, I'm not to do any good investigation at this point because I'm going to start seeing shit that's not there. So we might as well just hit the hay at this point.
Yeah. So we have a few minutes left, Frosty. Do we want to go over who we're going to have on over the next few weeks?
Yeah. So once again, Michael Stratt was supposed to be on tonight. We're going to have him back on in September. Believe it or not, do you know who's next week, Jenny?
It's Nicole, isn't it?
Yeah, Nicole PR. So if you like the witch cat decks and all that stuff, she's going to be on with us.
Witch cats.
Yeah, next week we're going to have her on the show. So if you have questions about her art and about her, oracle and all that stuff, be ready because we're going to have a whole hour and a half to talk to her. The week after that, on August 11th, we're going to have Laura Refeld on, who is going to join us to discuss her new book and experiences at Rendlesham Forest UFO encounter. So if you know about Rendlesham Forest, I hope people have heard of Rendlesham at this point.
You've heard a soundbite from it.
Yeah, I'll do a quick story, but Rendlesham Forest is one of the most known, probably I would say Roswell, Lights Over Phoenix, and then probably Rendlesham. So it's in the UK. There was a Royal Air Force base there, but also American Air Force that were stationed there. And they had a whole bunch of lights that they chased through the woods. At the beginning of our show, when you hear "No Doubt About It," this is weird. That is audio from their military radios from Rendlesham. So super excited to talk to Laura about her experiences there. On August 18th, we're going to have Robert Bitto on to talk about Mexico Unexplained.
So glad that he decided not to give up on it.
Yeah. On August 25th, we're going to have Colleen McCann on, she's going to discuss style rituals and is a personal energy stylist, which should be really interesting. So bringing fashion into the spiritual world and maybe how you dress has something to do. We'll be able to talk to her about that. And then leading us into, believe it or not, Labor Day weekend is going to be Rob Guttrow, who's going to come on. He's going to talk to us about all kinds of things, but he has agreed to do a couple of animal medium readings, pet medium readings. Yes. So we can only take a couple, but as we get closer to that date, we'll create something in the Discord because he says he does need a picture. So that night, we'll probably pick a couple people at random. And if you're going to be in there, you probably want to have a picture of your pet in the Discord. So we'll get that all set up before he comes on. And we have more coming after that. So lots of cool stuff coming up down the road. Oh, I guess you'll get to be on that show too, Alyson, because I'll be the 1st of September. We'll be doing this September.
Yeah, with Rob doing the pet communication. Yeah.
But yeah, lots coming, lots more coming. Big announcements are coming. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll be back next week with Nicole PR.
Yay.
Anything else, Jenny, before we kick out tonight?
That's it.
We had a lot planned. We were like, we got to see what chat wants to talk about tonight because we're going to have to fill up all this time tonight.
And instead,
we went long. Yeah. Because we have more emotes that we have like blank. So we're going to talk about what kind of emotes we want. Also, just a note, when we put this up on YouTube, anyone who is subscribed, we have on a scroll now that goes on the end. So you get your name up on all the YouTube videos for all the Twitch subscribers and all that. We're trying to do a little bit. I do want to say, make sure at the end of the show, sometimes we get so many our guests, so I'm trying to get this down. Thank you, Keisha Mama, for gifting a sub to The Wanderer. Medium Jenny, you reached a 7-stream streak. I don't know how you missed your streak.
I lost it because I was remembering why I would have lost it, and then it's fallen out of my head since we talked about a lot of things. But there would have been a stream. It was the stream in Connecticut.
Oh,
I wasn't watching it while we were on it.
There you go. When we were
So I
live at
lost it.
Paracon.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was another awesome time.
Yeah. I lost my 60 stream streak or something.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What
Shadow
episode
Max.
number are you on?
This is 115.
15.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shadow Max resubbed too for 16 months or something. Thank you, Shadow Max.
You. Subscribe for 5 months to tier 1. Thank you so much, Shadow Max. We appreciate all the subs. So if you check out any of our new videos, you'll get to see your name. Scroll down at the end of the episode. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I want to keep talking and hanging out, but unfortunately, we've reached the end of our time. So we'll be back next Monday. Hopefully, we get some streams from Jenny this week, and
hopefully
also hang out with. Do you know what your schedule is this week, Alyson, for your stream?
I should be streaming tomorrow night for Tarot Tuesday, and I'm thinking about streaming on Saturday night and attempting to make bread for Llamas. I've never made bread before.
That should be an interesting stream. Check into that one.
All right, let's go.
See if Allison's yeast will rise or not.
Yeah. It's humid enough, it should, I'm thinking.
We have to do our fake finish here, Frosty.
Yeah. So for all you listening at another time and another place, we will see you all next time.